That's a good question.
Always.
Very good.
Oh.
Savage. I talked to Lloyd. He said it's 5'2".
I share that Johnny out.
2 different lists.
Facebook.
Hello, Facebook.
Here I am with that.
Yeah, Facebook.
Already.
Wait, that's on there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, they're supposed to wait.
Nah, not with Sharky. Sharky tell you to go on.
Right.
Now. You got to go.
Sharky tell us you're on Facebook Live. The moment you walk in, you're like, what?
I know, so I put time limit on the segments.
We still do.
Yeah. Never me the reason why we go over. Never me.
I put it right beside it, 10 minutes.
Let me go look and see what mine is.
No, I definitely don't.
Yours longer. Moussa 15.
Oh, he's got 15.
You got 30.
Oh, I got I like to see. Nah, no, I got 30.
Yeah, rest y'all got a 5-minute slack time, so y'all can go over.
Shit, yeah, 30 minutes.
I mean, you know, this ain't
That's a heavyweight belt.
This ain't gonna take that long.
Yeah, because you know people are trash.
That's a heavyweight belt.
The reason why I put you two together right behind each other, I wanted to hear that.
That man get 30 minutes.
I told y'all I'll bring some stats as to why. I got a little sneak peek about that dish already. And you just woke up, Trevor? Blessed from the streets.
Streets.
Oh, sorry, we are live. Oh, yeah, so.
Oh, there you go.
From the 500 and both.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Crazy. Oh, jumping like a bunch of.
I need 7 shows face. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
He's
live from.
You might be pink
from the. Man, I need Rap City in the basement bag. Man, Foss was getting on that dude.
I need sure. I need sure you go. I need sure.
You need to get some of these mumble rappers in Rap City in the basement too. See if they can spit for real. That's what we need to do.
These don't know about that, bro. They don't know about it.
Let's be real.
They don't know how Lil Wayne put a down on the mic and then start killing it. They don't know about the Afro Ludacris coming and killing it every time, bro. They don't know about the little Bow Wow rap when he rapped about every girl that he probably could have had at the time. Like, they don't know about it, bro. They don't know about it.
Now you know, okay. So you're gonna take me down memory lane.
Hey, that was my show, bro. Shout out to Big Tigger.
Yeah. I bet Big Tigger still looks the exact same from like 30 years ago. I bet
because he was already bald.
Yeah, he accepted his baldness real early, so you know, shout out
Big
to him.
Tigger woke up. He was born bald. He was born looking way
he was real.
Yeah.
So, just because you just took us down memory lane, let's stay down in memory lane. That is just back. Yep. And so, the last time. When you were a teenager, of course, because you know you guys don't do this now because we're grown. But as a teenager, what was that lie that you told to your family that you still remember to this day? Whether you got in trouble for it really bad. Yeah, as a teenager. You either got in trouble for it real bad or you got off.
God, I got one.
What was the lie?
I didn't lie as a child.
What was the lie?
Right. That's exactly
why I love it. What was the lie that you
somebody
told?
said something. Oh, shout out to Brandon, man.
Shut up. What up, man? 10 points deducted. Hey, man, you might as well unfollow us now. You're not gonna slander Bow Wow at our show, bro. That's what you're not gonna do, bro. No.
So again, the question on the table is: what is one lie that you remember telling your family, your mom, dad, whoever it may be, that you got in trouble with?
Sharing on Twitter
heavily, okay, or you got, or it never was brought back to light.
Again. And now you're trying to break some news to your parents.
Yeah, I mean, you know, 10 years later, now you can tell them.
Oh boy.
I honestly don't think I have one, and that's not being me. It's like I don't think I got one. To be real, I'm thinking.
You ain't never lied to your family too.
I ain't never had to. That's me being real, bro. I ain't never had to. If I did, I'm like I did it. You know, my brother was a trouble child. He was the one that did all the stupid-ish, and I learned from. You know what I'm saying? Even though he was a younger brother, so shout out to my little brother. He was the one that did it all.
Golly. Well, Savage, actually.
I know.
Oh boy. Okay, so Savage will remember. You remember the Green Machine, the Ford Taurus?
Yeah, bro.
Like, a long time ago.
Oh,
So it was one time I know I was coming. I mean, I was cutting it close for curfew. So of course I had to like bag in every time I go to my parents' house. Bagged in, pulled into the garage.
Oh my god!
Hit the gas a little too hard. The side rearview mirror hit the brick wall. Boy, I was like, all right, how am I going to tell my parents about this one? I told them like, because she asked about it, and she was like, what happened to the rearview mirror? I was like, I think it was some kids. They were just like going through the little parking lot and just a bunch of people rearview mirrors, and so I think that's what happened. And then until later on, I ended up telling her that I hit the gas a little too hard, and the rearview mirror broke off on the side of the house. So that's one of the few, because I was scared of my parents. So it was sometimes I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to necessarily hear this argument right then and now. So we're just gonna push this as long as we can off.
So wow, I got us. It's very similar. My dad had a Dodge. I forgot what kind of Dodge car it was, but it was senior skip days. Matter of fact, when we all went to putt.
Was it Dodge Neon?
I can't remember. It was red. I remember it was red.
I was like, everybody had them jump back in.
But just I got back home from the senior skip day from putt. We stayed in a matter of fact, the same apartments that Trevor stay at now. We stayed over there. At that time, they had a little canopy area where we park it, and the little bars. Well, I cut in too tight and scratched like the whole passenger side of the car, bent in. So pretty much, I knew I was about to get in trouble. I was actually about to tell my dad when I walked in, but he was on the treadmill, and I was supposed to hoop later that day. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get in trouble anyway. Just go on ahead and just go ahead, take the car out. I mean, well, we know. I let them know later. I'm just going ahead. I'm gonna be in trouble for a while anyway, so might as well go and make this your last ride. I came back home. I hadn't told him yet. He actually took the car and went somewhere, but it was on the passenger side. And the way I parked straight in. So when he walked out, he just to see the driver's side. He went and got gas and everything. The gas can is on the passenger side. That's why. They know my family know this. Thing is actually on the driver's side. So he still didn't see. He got gas that night, everything. So the next morning he dropped me off at school, everything. I still told him, I was like, you know what? He just gonna find it. I get the text message like second period.
Now your whole day shook. You're like, God, I got straight home, right? Trying to do homework. Oh boy, appreciate you sharing that with us. Yeah. Let's see who else got something to share.
I thought Trevor was about to go. Look at Trevor. He got to say something.
Yes, mine.
I can't really think of anything, honestly, man.
Anybody else got any?
Y'all trying to be.
I was a good kid coming up, man. I'm sorry. I was a good kid coming up.
So. Well, everybody here got something to say. So
I nosy, man. I mean, Skylar and Shark, I know my parents, man.
Yeah,
so they know everything about me.
Yeah, those three I understand. Okay, that's fine. So Rhonda Johnson.
Is this breaking news?
Hey, Rhonda Johnson, if you're watching, I love you. Your second grandkid is on the way, and you'll have one child. So, yeah, I would. Yeah, dog. So this is what happened. We were, you know how colored folks do with not living in the right area but going to a different school.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So I was still going to, a pretty decent school, but I was living in a, different area. So my mother would drive me to the area we're supposed to live in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can catch the bus. God, I was tired of that. It's like my sophomore year. I literally just bought my car, so it's into my sophomore year. And so, so I tell my mom, I said, well, something's going on with the bus. I can't be on the bus anymore. So I'm just going to drive from here on out. Mind you, at the time, I didn't actually have my license. But mom was okay because she was like, "You just going to school and coming back." Yeah. There's just something wrong with the bus routes, you know. So I did this for the rest of the week. It was like 3 days. So I drove back and forth to school for 3 days, parked on the street where you could and everything like that. Well, actually, it wasn't even 3 days. I lied. It was only a day.
Like, still lying.
But I was supposed to do it. What I meant was I was supposed to do it for 3 days. So the first day is when I got caught. And I got caught because I kicked off the bus for some stuff. I can't remember what I got kicked off the bus for. But I was actually supposed to get a ride to school, not me driving. So when my mother found out about that, then I had to wait even longer to drive the car that I paid for. And so I got into a lot of trouble. I don't know how to really describe that, but just know that I was in the basement for a very long stints of time. And only came up for the light of day to go to school.
She brought you food and water. That was it.
That was it. I was in the dungeon for real.
So
Child Protective Services is really who I need to be talking to right now.
Wow.
Yes, man.
Wow.
We have no reports.
Yeah. You know, she would come and see me in the basement, 2 knocks for water, 1 knock for food. And that's it.
What kind of horror movie is this?
Mine.
The real life of senior violence. That's funny.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Well,
Go ahead, Sharky.
so this will be a part 2 from part 1 last week. I'll post it later this week about the Damon Stoudemire thing. So this is part 2 from there. 1 year later, we played against the basketball manager team again. Gallo was the coach. Me, Savage, and Took were on the court. The game was tied up.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, y'all, because I've been saying Savage and Took agree a lot lately on a lot of shit. So I have to defend it.
I'm in the comments. I know this one.
Lit them up. I don't think y'all ever hashed this out, talk to them. I mean, I heard
Took's face is priceless.
I heard Took. I had to hear Savage complain about this for years. He's finding good for now. But I'll tell you, I had to hear this almost every time. Your name.
Hey, that was my last intramural game too. I ain't got to go to the story.
Yeah, it's time. We had 5 seconds to go. We on the timeout. We got the ball. Skylar said,
Bro, Suki is dying over there.
about 20 points. He was like supposed to. Skylar said,
the hot hand.
give him the ball.
The hot hand.
I'm standing right beside Took is saying, I got this. I'm sitting there like, oh, like a shot. So we have to go full court. So I get the ball. I had to get to the court real quick. Took is the first person at the top and half court. So I get it to him. Savage comes right up the middle.
Like I drew it up, sir.
What? Coach Clay drawing up plays. I see you.
Took is in his Westbrook mode at this point. What's his favorite player at this time? He dribbled a couple times and launched that more NBA range 3-pointer about.
Ooh, the funniest part would have been if he airballed it.
Yeah, he did.
Oh man.
I just want y'all to
You
know.
remember the Fresh Prince episode where Carl took the ball from
Carlton Judge
and he did nothing?
I just want y'all to know.
What I thought of, bro.
I just want y'all to know that I had grown and matured from that time, and I was over it. But y'all just opened that wound right back up, man.
Hey, let's look at this on a positive note. Since Savage, you took a shark play. What was y'all's best game? For intramural, if you can remember.
That was my best game. I was going crazy.
Trevor, I was always told when you're coaching, and this is when I was trying to really get into coaching, bro. I was always told, get the ball in the play. If he hot, give him the ball.
Give him the ball.
That's exactly what I did. I mean, play was ran to perfection. And Took pulled up with a flick of the wrist.
Good question.
I mean, and he posed. He posed. You remember like how she was in
He pulled the rust for real.
He posed.
He pulled the rust.
Like, that looked short. And it was
It sure was.
Yeah, that's the greatest
Oh
question.
man.
Yeah, like,
Who can hoop?
who can
Who
However, he had that Westbrook syndrome.
He had that one burst, man.
Dude, do you remember from your perspective why you did that?
Yeah, I want to hear from. Yeah, let's hear from Took.
He has nothing to say.
He just wants
Right. Just say I put the fifth and move on.
Oh man,
He just laughing.
that's funny.
Okay, so I'll share that. I just knew I was getting the ball.
First of
My
all,
hands
man,
were ready.
Sharky,
I was
you
coming up
wrong.
a curl. Had my hands ready to shoot.
You
Go ahead, Took.
Yeah, go ahead, too. Come
Go
on.
ahead, Took.
What happened to?
He's trying.
If I never said it before, Savage, I'm sorry. I never said it before, I'm sorry.
I remember
First of all,
specific words.
it's a goddamn shame. It's a goddamn shame that Sharky even brought this back up.
Hey,
What?
it is what it is.
Yeah,
I almost had a moment like that too.
Yeah, I hear me.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, Savage, you go.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, like I said, Savage, if I never said it before, bro, I apologize, bro. I apologize. Second, man, Sharky, you know how I can get when I get in my mode and I'm feeling it.
I mean,
8 times out of 10, I'm gonna make the shot.
yeah.
So if I would have made it, it would be having a whole different story right now. But Skylar, you drew up the right play. Savage,
That's all Skylar looking for.
ain't nothing I can say. You open up a room, Sharky. I'm gonna get your ass back for that one, bro. I'm gonna get you back for that, bro. I'm gonna get you back, bro.
I'm gonna get you one right now. I already had this planned out.
I'll get you back.
Oh, me, you, and Savage were playing pickup ball.
Oh, he probably
You threw me the perfect alley-oop pass, and I was looking. I was looking at the rim, and I laid it up and missed the layup.
I remember that.
Hey, you should have said. I actually remember that. I actually remember that.
You threw me the perfect. And you know what? I want you to dunk it.
Wow.
I was like looking. I was like, bro, why I try to let it up? Yeah, I missed it.
He's already up there.
I think it was game point.
To be around y'all to hear more hoop stories. This is gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Let's Be Real's version of Confession Hour. We appreciate you for rocking with us.
I agree. Right there.
80%.
Yeah, 80%. Oh yeah, when I'm Oh yeah, 80%. That was
Brandon, it don't matter, Brandon. I literally was not missing that game, Brandon. Like when I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. Like just give me the ball. And literally, y'all, that was my last time hooping seriously. Like playing a competitive 5-on-5 game. It's been almost a decade.
See, now, you shut down the man's whole career.
We started up with LBR team. Us three and
working that, so hey.
I'm down.
That was my last time playing for real. So hey, if y'all know what a hoop is, let me know.
LBR team coming up in some type of church league or something.
Boy,
but to go off this to the crowd, I mean, we were young. We were like what, 20?
Yeah, about 2021. Yeah.
Man, what a memory.
It was like 2012.
Man.
Because they got brought up for a solid couple years after that.
I'm sure, bro.
My last game.
I heard from Savage like almost every week.
Savage on Texas Sharky at 2 a.m. So
we can never play with this nigga.
Yeah, it was literally like a LeBron and J.R. Smith moment because I asked too. I was like, "What are you doing?" He said, and I quote, "I thought I was Russ," and at that moment, I knew like KD that I was leaving Oklahoma City and I was not coming back.
Man!
Hey, how y'all think I know how KD be feeling though? You know what I'm saying? Once upon a time I was right.
Wow.
Memories.
Hey man, it was damn near 10 years ago, bro. We can laugh.
We laugh at that.
Yeah.
Rashard, he quit our team right before that too.
No,
bust him out too.
Rashard, no.
We're just going after everybody.
Everett Wilson.
Yep. He was on the squad. He quit the joint right.
Sharky came loaded today.
Yeah.
We should have opened up.
We wrong for that, dog.
All right, man, that was funny. I need some. Well, we
Lord, one.
live, but I need some giveaway ideas. I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
All right, we got some giveaways coming up later in the show. Go ahead and post up the shirt.
Oh yeah, so for those that are
not you can show that.
I was gonna say I really wanted to show that one off.
No, you can. No, you can. No. This giveaway.
Go ahead and talk.
All right, it's a 2XL. I know not many people wear it, but
people see that. Can y'all see that?
I'm trying to see so I can ask
you. Sorry. That's a nightgown for a woman. So I mean,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, we have 2XL LBR. Black Lives Matter. Matter of fact, Trevor has it on right now. So
yeah, just
2XL.
2XL new shirt right here.
And also, what happened to the bumper stickers?
Got some bumper stickers. We legit around here.
Yes.
We'll figure out sometime.
I need some of them.
Wait, right. Y'all getting them when I see y'all.
Now, the thing about it is, don't be out here driving recklessly because there's only 5 of us on this podcast. So they're going to say, hey, some of us from Let's Be Real, can I drive it off?
We in Memphis, man. Let's be real.
Let's
be real.
Don't get fired. All right. I'm ready to start this thing up. Just get it.
Good warm up. Savage will come off the curl on this one.
Now what I just pictured is Sharky like presenting the jump, but then 2 coming out of nowhere with his own script and cutting him off.
Ain't gonna happen. It's not my turn. It's not my turn.
Hey, at least 2 passes on 2K. That's all that matters.
The shirt that says it, so it's still not my turn.
Yeah, I will say there's at least 2 passes in 2K. I'm like people play with. Yeah.
That's what matters.
One more thing before we get started. One of that team, I actually recruited the guy who been commenting, Brandon. I actually recruited him to play for us on that team, but it ain't work. I hope he ended up playing Chimeri's that year, but yeah, I had recruited him that file.
Yeah, squad, man.
Man, I got.
You can't.
Hey man, that's fine.
I had a couple intramural stories, but we'll wait till another time for that.
Yeah. Gotcha.
From the sticks in Martin, Tennessee. So
yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Oh yeah, you next week.
From the
start out with you next week.
That's exactly what it is.
All right.
No, they got a Walmart out there.
All right.
Every town at this point has a Walmart too.
Every town been too. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This
it was me.
Take 2.
Had to call.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's be real about optimism.
Yes, sir.
Very optimistic. Got the guys for the daughters, for the new babies coming up.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For
so
these
we got
2 gentlemen.
2 baby girls that's on the way that's going to join the Let's Be Real podcast pretty soon. So the team hooked me and Sheedy up with some nice little swag gear for the baby. So appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much.
We also will be getting guns.
Right.
There's more. Of course, we start off justice for Breonna Taylor. Another week is gone. Nothing's happened. So just be able to pretty much promote that. And hopefully justice is served sooner rather than later.
That's a fact.
Yeah. But
also, we want. I don't mean to cut you off. Also, we also want justice for Elijah McCain as well, because his police officers are still running free. And as of I think earlier this week, they're now starting to protest their termination from the police force. So, if you can, also justice for Breonna Taylor as always. Also, we want justice for Elijah McCain as well. So,
and we really want. We want justice for everybody.
Anyone,
yeah. Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, I guess as a quick plug is the Atlanta mayor, who is a Black woman, and not getting the support that she needs. If y'all don't know, please do your research because y'all are on YouTube, Snapchat, everything else, TikTok it, whatever. But look up what's going on in Atlanta and the discrepancy between the mayor and the governor, and notice the differences of Black woman and something else, and COVID-19. Just go and do your own research. But we need to support her too, because like I said, a couple weeks ago, Atlanta is like the Black hub for us right now. And if we die in Atlanta, then we can die everywhere.
Sure. Type it in. Google's your friend, bro. Mr. Carter said it best.
Nope. All right, so the first topic up, Skyler.
All right,
Tigers.
Let's go. So the name of the podcast, Optimism. And ladies and gentlemen, we were very optimistic a couple weeks ago, and we are very optimistic now. As breaking news, Moussa Cisse has committed to the University of Memphis, which some of us did so happen to mention of a couple of weeks ago. So I know this is something we've talked about a couple of times. So now that he's now on the team, I guess I would like to ask you guys, with the addition of Moussa Cisse, how do you guys view the Tigers now going into what potentially could be an upcoming season? So how do you guys feel about the Tigers now that a big addition like this has been added?
It answers the question that we were looking to go into, excuse me, in terms of the front court now that Precious had decided to go into the draft. I think now adding Moussa Cisse, hopefully we can have him for more than 3 games like we did with James Wiseman. But just having him in the front court, just there you go. Yeah, being optimistic. There you go. Just having them there just completely changes the dynamic, because a lot of us would probably, well, not us, but a lot of the national media was probably looking us to fall off after Precious left and the situation that happened with James Wiseman. Like immediately upon signing Moussa Cisse, Memphis jumped right into the top 25 preseason. So I'm excited. Hopefully there's a season. I really feel that if nothing comes down on Memphis could really make some serious noise and finally get that NCAA tournament bid that's eluded Penny thus far. So that's my take on it.
Great take on that.
Yeah, I just need us to get back in the tournament. I think that solidifies us getting back in the tournament. I would say we can go. I mean, we can get to definitely second weekend. We can make a run once we get there. Depends on the other edition. So if Landers, let's say they don't predict that he'll be able to play, but Landers know they can play. That's possibly a Final Four team. If you add him, DeAndre Williams is his name, and Moussa Cisse, 2 the returning players. Yeah, that's Final Four worthy. But we're not presuming that's going to happen. If it's just DeAndre Williams, then I predict definitely second weekend. But just get back in the tournament. I mean, at this point, we haven't been in the tournament since 2013.
Quite a time.
14. Y'all opinion. Josh passed in the last 3 years. It's been a while. Let's get back in the tournament.
My initial thought is optimistic about the Tigers and Moussa Cisse. And let me finish. Pessimistic about the outlook of the NCAA season. But what I mean by that is if it's just conference play, ooh boy, the American is in trouble.
Yes.
we just playing American Conference basketball. I don't see any team it'll be competitive. I'm not gonna down the American like that. But I'm looking at a lot of the players that came in 2 years ago, your Alex Lomax, your DJ Jeffries, what's the guy's name? Boogie, that are another year older, another year with some experience. And I've said 2 years ago when the first class came in, I was like, A-Lo and them are going to be good by their junior year because you would have had, 2 years in the American, 2 years of college experience. You kind of know what it means to fight. And I'll close it out right here. The best defensive team in the country just got even better. And if we have any ounce of offense, it's going to be a problem for any team in the NCAA. And I'll leave it at that.
For sure.
Savage, you saw the words right out of my mouth, really, with the whole defense thing. Like the fact of, scoring was our main issue. I don't think it'll be going into this next season, especially with, like you said, everybody from Penny's, freshman season are now juniors now, you know what I'm saying? And the progression from freshman to sophomore that I'm hoping to see in Boogie and Lester and DJ, I'm expecting all of those to mesh a lot better than last year. And then you're going to have the force inside that is Moussa. So I think Moussa coming, shout out to him, salute to him. I definitely had him going to the G League because that's, of course, I was that pessimistic one, the one who thought
I was too.
That he choose the money. And I was saying, I hope that I'm wrong. Like, I really want him to come. Like, come on, I'm a diehard Tigers fan. But, I think the G League is still something that a lot of players are going to consider. But the fact that Moussa chose Memphis, I think you got to give it up to Penny Hardaway because a lot of these people have been really, really tough on him. But for us to make it through last season, James Wiseman, the injuries, the losses that we should have won, and to end up having a 5-star center, possibly the best center in his class, come to University of Memphis from Memphis, it just lets you show that you better, if you plan on coming to get the most talented kids in the world, which I believe are in Memphis, you got to go through Penny Hardaway first. So,
yeah, for sure. One thing that I want to talk about before I get into what I think the Tigers could look like going into next season, I think very sneaky big news is who was the major piece that allowed Moussa Cisse to want to commit to Memphis, which is the coach at Lamont College, and I want to bring that up because, of course, it's a historically black college. He, Mr. Anderson, the coach there, from what I've been able to read and gather, is he had a huge influence into Moussa Cisse committing to Memphis. So I definitely want to give a shout out to him because I don't think a lot of people are, one, reading that part of the article, and then two, I don't think a lot of people are being as vocal about it. But as far as what I think they could look like going into what, like Savage said, what could be nothing but conference games, I think the American they have an issue on their hands, and that issue belongs to Memphis, Tennessee, and that issue is going to be here for quite some time. Being able to grab a name like Moussa Cisse after the schools that he had on his list is says a lot about what Penny Hardaway can do on the recruiting trail. Because not if you just count this year, but last year too, we've been able to beat Kentucky, who is a national powerhouse in recruiting. We've been able to beat them out for, I would say, at least 4 or 5 players that currently sits on Memphis' roster, but had Kentucky on their list. So the conference, you would say, has a huge problem with Penny Hardaway, who we now know that he can recruit. Now it's just a matter of being able to put those pieces together. And I really believe, like Sharky said, this team could go into the second weekend. Now, we could potentially talk about how farther, even after the second weekend, when you talk about if DeAndre Williams, if he's allowed to play next year, if Landers Nola is able to play next year, because at that point, that's just adding veteran leadership to what I guess is a young team, but even the young team, quote unquote, they've now gotten a year older. So I think it's going to be really huge for them. I'm really excited that we got Moussa Cisse because that plugs in a hole that we had with losing Precious Achiuwa. So I'm excited. Like y'all said, the number one defense last year did nothing but get even better. Good luck trying to score 50 points in the FedEx Forum. That one.
Yep.
I remember a couple years ago calling the Tigers the baby Tigers, man, and it's fun just watching them grow up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Before you go, Sheedy, man, you mentioned something about Kentucky. Overtime heroes. Time Rose,
yes, sir.
Time Rose, Kentucky.
Hey guys,
why y'all worried about this?
That's not my tweet.
Like, I'm a Tennessee fan. Y'all worse. Y'all getting worse than the rest of the Tennessee. And I don't like Tennessee fans, and I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all getting worse. Y'all worse than them at this point in Kentucky because y'all don't even play us. Y'all don't even play Memphis. At least Tennessee played Memphis. We can understand that's an in-state rivalry. What Kentucky? Why y'all worried about us?
Because we
don't want that smoke. He don't want that smoke.
The fans trick me out because y'all trying to come up with every excuse of why they're choosing Memphis over y'all. Like,
oh, we weren't going hard.
Be quiet. Yeah. Savage, I saw you here retweeting and said they hadn't even tweeted in like 2 weeks or something.
That was a month. Legit month.
And all of a sudden,
3 tweets in a row, it was Memphis. I'm like, I know we on your mind, man. I know.
Come on, Seth.
All right.
Nah, yeah, fine. For the Moose, that's why I'm gonna call him the Moose. And what
nickname?
Yeah, the Moose. The Moose of Memphis, whatever. And so, again, my Cash App is open if you want to give me those royalties. But thank goodness that the G League is not prominent or moving around right now, because I think that still he may have went that route, right? Because if more open, COVID-19 and whatever, I think he may have went there. Now, again, me being more optimistic, glad that he's here in Memphis. We ended last basketball season, maybe this year, and I said that if Memphis can get another 5-star player, I believe that they can go to the Sweet 16. And I'm still standing by that right now because they got a 5-star player. So I believe that they'll go to the Sweet 16. They got a rim protector. I just need them to cut down on the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. You cut down on the turnovers because any team can lose on turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you cut down on the turnovers, you have even better defense than the defense that the Memphis Tigers already had. And it's not like the Moose can pound in the middle and in the paint.
Mhm.
He's got some great offensive work with him.
Mhm.
You can put Jeffries around him. Like, you have so many other weapons now to expand the floor even more for him. You can dip it down to him and kick it back out. Open three for Lomax all day. But anyways, so when I Sweet 16, without a doubt, should be that route for Memphis Tigers. Moose from Memphis, the Moose of Memphis, he's here.
Shaggy Patty.
Hey, no disrespect. Hopefully he's he has improved. So hopefully he's continuing to improve. Both him and what's the other guard? The tall
Damien.
Yeah, Damien.
There we go.
Yes, I need both of them to improve on that 3-point shooting. But
maybe it's a step inside the 3-point line.
Yeah.
One for 8.
Alo get the range. He got
one game like one. No, there was one game all the guards like 1 for 14.
Yeah,
I remember that.
They all need to move.
Yeah, and I think also, and I'm not sure how much time we got left on this particular, but I think what helps them to be able to shoot better threes are open threes, and I think that's what James Wiseman not did last year.
Yeah.
And what having the Moose of Memphis having on the team this year, again, is people are going to be focused on that 6'10", 7-foot huge object that's in the middle. So now that everybody or those eyes are now focused on them, then now that opens that gives Leicester better chances to hit threes that are now open. Damian Ball, who of course he doesn't have the best jumper, but
he hit the clutch one.
But again, it's also being able to have space, and that's another thing that the Tigers team did not have last year. What's spacing?
Yeah, so like when you're talking about spacing, so like you want to give the big the ball and not let the guard shoot an air ball to possibly win the game.
Right.
Oh, okay. I was just checking.
That's exactly.
I'm sorry too. I should have known when she was gonna take it. Take an inch.
I walked him right into that.
Y'all ain't doing nothing but add fuel to the fire, baby. Just wait. Just wait. Both of y'all on my hit list, bro.
The next 3 that I hope you take is a make, and it's a game winner. How about that?
Yep.
And I need to see it live
for our LBR team. We're gonna be on the squad.
Yeah.
You're gonna make up for it.
Y'all wrong, man. Let's move on.
Now you got 30.
30 for 30 short.
Right.
All right, Took. Got Mike Miller.
Yes, sir. Mike Miller is now officially the new head coach of the Houston High Mustangs. I think that's one of the best things that could have happened to. I want to kind of bring it to the Memphis Tigers in a minute, but just shout out to Mike Miller for using this opportunity to be able to teach his kids the best. He got a senior Mason who's one of the best in the state. Some people are saying, and then he got a sophomore Maverick Miller, who's also coming up. So there's like 2 years that you get to develop those two who could possibly be eventual Memphis Tigers. And I think what we're going to eventually see is another version of East High School when Penny came to East and then, ran state champions. Then Mike Miller coming to Houston, who could have been state champions if not for COVID. So Mike Miller is going to a good situation. But Sharky, I appreciate you for letting me, bring this in because I want to give a huge salute to Mike Miller, man. He can be anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? University of Florida, drafted by Orlando Magic, went to the Heat, got a championship or 2. You know what I'm saying? But in Memphis and recognize the talent that we have here in the city and, giving back to us. So I appreciate Mike Miller for doing that. And I think that him and Penny are still going to have a dope relationship. And he's going to help those kids at Houston. So Memphis basketball, high school basketball back on the map, man, for sure.
Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely love the news, too. I'm all for anybody that positions themselves to be better at whatever they're doing. I think Mike Miller did that. And I think, of course, I would have loved for him to still be at Memphis, but him being able to take a role as a head coach at another school or program, I think that's better for him. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm all for it. I'm excited for him. Hopefully, like you said too, hopefully that maybe that his players there at Houston some of them will be able to become Tigers later down the road. But I'm happy for him. It's a new job for him. So
I genuinely think that Mike loves high school basketball. I don't know if it's just me or if y'all get that vibe too, because y'all know that Mike had his team in Memphis even when he wasn't even playing in Memphis. Mm-hmm. So he's really heavily involved in AAU, and this is not a step down for me, but I just think that Mike is passionate about high school basketball, while also passionate about his boys too. I mean, let's be real. His boys playing at Houston. So I'm curious to see what will happen within the next 2 to 4 years if he'll stay at Houston or there's some different end goal in mind if he wants to coach in college. I don't think he wants to go to the pros. I don't think he wants. He would have did it by now. He would be on somebody's coaching staff at some point. But I'm curious to see what he's gonna do. But like Two said, salute to Mike for what he did for Memphis. Mike Miller is a Memphian through and through, like from the Grizzlies to the Tigers to just being embedded in the community. So big shout out to Mike Miller. Hopefully we can catch a game at Houston or somewhere else, or maybe at Southwind if we go put up Southwind. Yeah, salute to Mike Miller.
Yep. Hopefully COVID allows. I showed you get back on high school basketball. Hey, I missed Kennedy Chandler last year, so we got to get back on him this year.
Yeah. My thing about the Mike Miller situation, not even situation, but to your point, Savage, thanks for saying that. Like, it's not really a step down if that's what you really want to do. And people need to understand it's not always about the money that you make. Like, are you happy doing your job every single day? Because if you're not, all the money you make don't mean nothing, right? So that is a huge thing. But also, like, just to be with his family, be around his kids was the bigger point for me. Because there's all these things that are going on. We're talking about COVID-19, like all these restrictions going on, going to high school games, even going to high school itself. And how crazy this time is. So he took it upon himself and said, hey, you know what? In my eyes, he said, listen, I'm gonna be around my kids no matter what.
Yeah.
And instead of taking, in to everyone's point, I think Mike Miller, not ready for NBA, but I'm sure could take maybe a lesser role or a head coaching role at another school that's not the University of Memphis and still thrive there. But the fact that, again, that he's going to Houston, he's here in the city, he is really Memphis. Yes, he did win his rings with Miami, but he still came back home. And that's huge to see and to know. And that's the salute to the culture here in Memphis, that once you're here in Memphis, you are Memphis. You may leave Memphis, but you always have a part of Memphis with you at all times. So just salute to Memphis Mike. And what they've been doing. Yeah, again, I'll send my cash out later in case I need it.
That boy hustling.
We're gonna put it in the ticker sheet. We're gonna put it in the ticker.
Yeah. But yeah, big up to Mike Miller, and I'm sure Houston's gonna do well this year. And if they ain't, it won't be because of Mike Miller. They're gonna be shooting the three. I can tell you that.
Shooting. Shooting for sure. Yep. Shout out to Mike. Trevor, you got anything?
Shout out to Mike. That's it. I think everyone else covered everything on Mike Miller. So, hey, kudos to Mike Miller, man. So, hey, shout out.
Okay. All right, move on to NFL. Dang, I missed the mark. Could have invited my guy Nige on this episode since he is a Washington fan.
I don't think he wants to be associated with anything in Washington.
Exactly.
On this. But Savage, you lead us off.
Yeah, man. So, the Washington football team.
Well, start with
the professional.
Yeah. So I got a laundry list. So bear with me, y'all. I'm gonna go through. I wrote it down so I didn't forget anything because they got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So as y'all know, last week the team has decided to go forth with what I call a complete rebrand, removing all Native American imagery, as well as changing the actual name, formerly known as the Washington Redskins. It doesn't take a genius to realize that, that is a racial slur. No matter who says it's not a racial slur, it is a racial slur. So shout out to them for doing that. Reports did say they wanted to keep the red and gold color scheme. So they were having a couple of options like red tails and red wolves and all that stuff. They wanted to still somehow pay homage to somebody, whether it's like a slick homage to a Native American with the red wolves, or a nod to the military with the red tails, or some other derivation of that. Other reports came out. So in addition to the name change, the brand change, you had a report of at least, I believe it was 15 women that mentioned that they were somehow sexually assaulted during their time working for the Washington organization. If you guys saw the article, there were text messages, there were emails. There was even mention of like the way that a staircase was built so that you can look up a woman's skirt. Just some really disgusting stuff, man. This is total mistreatment of women that was going on with that organization. So as you can imagine, I think weeks before, 2 staff members were let go without reason that wasn't explained until last week. But Dan Snyder, the owner of the Redskins, a couple of the other minority owners were told to sell their ownership within the organization. So it's just a lot going on, and that's not even it. You know, Dan Snyder also was alleged to have given $2 million to refs to fix games, and I don't believe that because they've been trashed for a long time. Kinfolk cousins left.
Hello.
But I would have to say it's a lot going on up in the nation's capital beyond just 45. But what do you guys make of all that's going on with the Washington professional football team? That's how I feel.
It is so much to unpack, and just to tag on, there was also an issue between one of the former players and Jay Gruden, where text messages were leaked that basically Jay Gruden wanted to fight this player because of something allegedly the defensive back said, which come to find out wasn't true. So you got that on top of everything else Savage just mentioned, and I just gotta say, money is a powerful thing because all of this started because FedEx, instructing them to change the name. Mm-hmm. Nike took all of their stuff off the site. EA Sports just recently took the Washington team off of the game altogether. So, as well as Amazon pulling all their stuff off the site. So it's amazing what money can do, man. It's the root of all evil, as they always say. But at this point, we got another situation that happened with Don Sterling on his hands, and at this point, Roger Goodell, the rest of the NFL, they have to step in and do something. I read just a few days ago that they were talking about possibly hitting Washington with just a fine, and Dan Snyder will get to continue to be the owner. And I got upset about it and tweeted about it. I was like, you cannot drop the ball with this situation. Like, if you're going through a full shout out to Rashad Wilson. If you're going through a full rebuild and a full rebranding, like, you got to legit clean house, and just hitting them with this fine just makes things worse before it eventually gets better. So,
I guess I'll go next. This, to y'all's point, is a lot, and I honestly, when I heard that this was going on, I think the article came out Friday maybe. I literally did not read it until this morning, because that's something that you have to, when you read that, you got to be ready for, because that's a lot of stuff that's happened within that team over the past couple of years. And like y'all already said, this is absolutely disgusting. I really hate that those women had to go through a situation like that. I believe a lot of women that want to be cheerleaders or they want to have a super higher position, when you have some form of role within the National Football League team, and you get to that position, and then now you're trying to work, but then you have all this mess going on. You're being mistreated. You're being verbally abused. You're being sexually harassed and stuff like that at work. I think I really hate that they had to go through that situation. I pray that justice comes from this. I honestly do believe, and Trevor kind of touched on it a little bit, Dan Snyder should be fired from his job, and I don't think there needs to be any discussion after that. For they say he may not have known, but some of these people within his inner circle, and at the end of the day, guys talk. And you're not gonna tell me that Dan Snyder had no idea that any of this was going on. So I really hate that this happened. As somebody who has a daughter on the way, it was even worse to read it, because it just makes me even that much more. I know I'm going to be even more crazy less than 30 days when my daughter gets here. And just reading stuff like that, it really makes my flesh crawl. And I just really hate, like I said, I hate that stuff happened. I hope justice comes from this. And again, at the end of the day, two things are undefeated: karma and Father Time, and karma's coming from the Washington, whatever they are. So if you were the Washington Redskins or whoever they were, you can no longer. I honestly think you can't even be a fan of the team anymore after this. Like, it's just hard to come back from this. This happened for way too long, and nothing came of it up until this upcoming week. So it's hurtful too.
It's funny you say that, Skylar, because I think there is literally one thing that can help the professional Washington football team, and that's if Roger Goodell finally allows a black owner to come into the NFL. Yeah. And if you look back in the history, just a stat for you, the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl came from the Washington Redskins. So I think if we were to capitalize on that history, especially at a time like this, especially at a time where, Black Lives Matter, Roger Goodell, do they really matter? Because if so, go ahead and prove it. Like, I'm pretty sure there are a bunch of billionaires, black billionaires, who love to have an NFL franchise, especially coming from this turmoil. You know what I'm saying? We are going through another Donald Sterling situation. But I think the NFL will look great at this if there was a black man giving the keys to the team.
That's the only way to solve that one.
Yep.
That's the only way you come back after that.
Shout out to Doug Williams. That's the quarterback he's referring to.
Yep.
They won Super Bowl with the Redskins, formerly the Redskins, just Washington now. I guess off y'all point, I remember the Donald Sterling thing. How did they force him out? Because that's on the way Dan Snyder gets out.
I believe it was the NBA. The NBA just said
the owners decided and
on top of that, the team turned on him. Like they protested at the beginning of the next game, taking out their warm-ups and then put it all in the middle of the floor. So
so I guess it's gonna come into a thing where the NFL voters are, get all together and vote. And NFL, for those who ain't said none throughout this whole Black Lives Matter movement, I dare you to vote against it. I dare you.
I really don't think much is not going to come out of this, because who's to say that it's the same things are going on with these other franchises? And I hate to bring him up, but Jerry Jones had a similar situation with him sexually harassing one of his employees a couple of years ago. Nothing really came up of it, but
I think the difference will be is that people love Jerry Jones. Nobody likes Dan Snyder. I use love as like it's Cowboys, but like for Washington, nobody likes Dan Snyder. They just don't. Like people clown them for their stadium for years. Like just the condition of it. So it's just overall that whole organization needs like a detox completely. Like it just needs to be completely done over
from the ground up.
Yeah,
just the whole Washington. Throw the whole Washington away right now.
You can take the Wizards in there too. My stance on it. First, I was really elated about this topic and everyone I was speaking until Trevor just had to say Jerry Jones. I was like, man, finally we can talk about NFL without mentioning Jerry Jones.
He did it.
But touche, I understand. Yeah. Had to be brought up. But as a man, it's disgusting to read those type of articles about how women are treated. And this is only because these women decide to say something. There are clearly, and we all know there are other women out there, and men that, and just to say people that are abused in different ways on a day-to-day basis, that they're scared to come to work, right? Or things are different when they're at work. And so it's disgusting that this comes from a professional team, such as the Washington whatevers. But at the end of the day, they need to get rid of, you write that down again, cash out, getting ready. They need to get rid of Dan Snyder. To Savage's point, I can't name you someone else that likes Dan Snyder. I really can't name you anyone. They may like him because they get paid by him, Josh Norman, but you went there and then stunk it up. And so that's shout out to you, Tuka. I know, because he was helping you with Carolina, but then he went to Redskins and the Washington team and got bummed.
I got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, man, everything about it is so depressing that I actually don't even want a team there. Like I would, when we're talking about revamping, I move the team somewhere else.
I agree.
Memphis is always a great home, but anywhere you would like, but just get rid of Washington altogether and let's try somewhere else, because the memories will still be there no matter what you do with the stadium. They used to be hogs, right? Don't let me get started with these terrible people that are Washington folk, but just get rid of it all in totality and just move on. And then also get justice for those 15 women and then some that were done wrong. Like, we just need justice. Justice. This is why we're here. It's why we're doing what we're doing. It's why we're saying what we're saying, because we want justice on all parties. Now, to the point that everyone has said, you know what I'm going to go, Sharky. You know I'm going to go. If Dan Snyder was black. You want to say something, Sharky? What was next? Okay.
That's it.
It's a perfect storm too because Ron Rivera is Latino. Your quarterback is black. It only makes sense to get you a minority GM, minority owner. Like it's already there.
Let's finally make it time. Let's finally make it time.
Hopefully, we can only pray it happens.
Yeah.
All right, to Trevor, we got some. The July 15th deadline passed by this past week.
All right, and some more positive news talking about black folks getting paid. This past Wednesday was, of course, the deadline for those that have been franchise tagged to sign new deals. Not that great of an eventful day, to say the least. Just to name a few people who eventually got new deals. Of course, Chris Jones, the defensive tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs, got an extension for 4 years, 80+. Myles Garrett signed an extension for 5 years, 125. And of course, Derrick Henry of the Tennessee Titans, tighten up around here. After getting his tag, got his extension as well. In my opinion, was a great deal. He's getting paid before the market of the running backs because me and Sharky talked about it earlier of who all is going to be free agents next season in the running back position. Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Marlon Mack, Todd Gurley, like the list goes on. So shout out to Derrick Henry for securing the bag early.
Yeah.
I just want to get you guys' thoughts on who didn't sign, just to name people who's going to be under the tag. Of course, Dak Prescott. We talked about that ad nauseum. AJ Green is going to be playing under the tag and a couple of other people. So just you guys' thoughts on the franchise tag deadline that just passed. So,
the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Trash.
I mean, absolutely garbage. I mean, I don't understand how you've had. I think as a general manager, what you're supposed to do is find talent. Once you find talent, then pay that talent. So when you have, at some point, you had Jalen Ramsey on your team, and the two people that just got tagged, Atlanta Fournette and Yannick Ngakoue, like two really good players, and you're not paying them, so you can pay who? Like I don't understand.
Dak Prescott.
Jaguars doing. First of all, it must be nice to have a team that has no idea, that has no vision in your division like that, because I don't understand what they're doing.
Two teams.
What are they doing? You had Jalen Ramsey, you didn't want to pay him. You have Ngakoue, you don't want to pay him. You have Leonard Fournette, who's a pretty decent running back, at least I thought he was. You're not paying him. Who are you paying?
Blake Bortles?
You cannot.
No.
Exactly.
That me and Sam has been saying.
I really don't understand what they're doing. I really want to bring those two names up because it frustrates me that people call themselves a general manager of a team, but make very stupid decisions like that. And you just feel like, how do you get your job, G? Like, I really don't understand that. So I really wanted to bring that up. And of course, I hate that Bud Dupree of the Steelers, who he was franchise tag, but I kind of understand it why. So that's what I thought of this whole thing. I don't care about anybody else that's on the list.
I'm gonna go real quick because I don't have much to say, and I want to hear Sheedy at some point.
Me too.
Shout out to the Titans for paying their players. I'm hopeful about their window because I like to see Tennessee do well, and I'm watching to see what they do with quarterback at some point. I believe Tannehill has a 2-year deal, Sharky, 2 or 3.
It's a 4-year deal, but essentially 2
guaranteed.
2-year deal. So I'm kind of watching that situation, and I'm trying to see if there's any quarterback that will come loose within the next year or so for Tennessee to jump on. So shout out to Derrick Henry for getting paid. It's a good deal for both sides. As far as the elephant in the room with Daiquiri, Dakota, Dak, Rain, Prescott. Skyler, you mentioned Jacksonville, and I'm gonna keep saying it till the Hogs come home. I said 2 years ago. 2 years ago on the pod, I said Jacksonville, and it. Not that it would happen, but I mean, Dak is gonna get paid by somebody. Jacksonville ain't paying anybody. They got all the money in the world, so we'll see how it goes. That's all I'm saying.
Who you gonna throw to when you get there?
It don't matter, man. He get paid.
I'll get
a chart there. He all right.
I think Savage, that's a good point with the Jacksonville thing. Like, they not paying anybody, and why not give the money to a man that's really deserving instead of just having him on your team and having a backup that'll come and take his job and you already know it. So it is what it is. But I think with Cincinnati, AJ Green's been one of my favorite receivers in the game. I can't wait till he gets to a team that knows how to win, so he can actually win. And I think that'll pretty much secure them. It's probably having another number 1 pick next season. So. They're I guess quote unquote rebuilding as well.
Hey, y'all got top weapons over there in Carolina. I saw.
Hey man, ESPN said top 5. I said top 10, so I'm happy about that.
Top 10 don't sound like rebuilding.
Top 10 ain't rebuilding.
If you rebuilding and have a top 10 offense, I'm good. I'm good. If we have a top 10 offense next season and we last in defense,
let me say this before she goes. Words that I'm tired of hearing this summer: toxic, manifest, and rebuild. I ain't got patience for none of those words.
Normalize.
Technically, I've been out.
Normalize is
Get by another week. Shout out to August. I've seen it in here.
If you want to say anything before I get
filthy.
Do y'all want to finish? Yeah, I guess y'all want to finish with that. Tighten up. That's all I gotta say, goddamn. Hey, shout! My heart woke up, man. Tuesday morning, I guess it was the day before the deadline, and Adam Schefter reported that the deal was probably not going to happen.
Yes,
and I tell you, I prayed. I ain't gonna lie.
There you go.
I was like, bro, they gonna get something done. They gonna get something done.
Not because you asked not. There we go.
Right. I was like, they gonna get something done. Kind of like we don't want to go into this next year. I know some people were saying like, hey, the deal, it was shorter than what they do. Smaller than what they thought. 4 years, $50 million, $25 million guaranteed for a running back who can't catch the ball in the backfield. There you go. That's pretty much 2 franchise tags. We paid him. He took it. Also, looking at the loaded 2021 class with Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon, Kenyon Drake, Todd Gurley, Leonard Fournette, James Conner, Matt Breida, Phillip Lindsay, Kareem Hunt, James White, Tariq Cohen, Marlon Mack. I mean,
class, man. But give me a running back.
Derrick Henry wasn't gonna get paid what he just got paid.
Give me a running back while you play. Not only that, they'll start to get that the 2021 NFL draft is deep running backs too. So
yeah,
you don't get one.
What's called from Clemson coming out. Yep. So essentially, he took the deal there. I mean, that was a great deal for both sides. He had to go on second. We had to pay him. So what's up?
Running back.
So what I will say first.
Just speak from the heart.
I shall. If you are a football player,
got 3 minutes.
Got you. Now I'm gonna spend 3 minutes on this. 2.5, I will say. If you're a football player, you need to pay attention to the Titans. You need to pay attention to the Chiefs. Both teams secured great players at great deals to make sure that they can play in the playoffs year after year after year. Hands down, great job, GMs and owners. Jim, I know you're getting old, man. Just you didn't want to sign him. Y'all couldn't agree about the 4 years. He wanted 4. I don't even want to hear no more. At this point, I don't agree with this with the Jacksonville. It's a win-win, lose-lose situation on both sides. He's at the franchise deal clearly. He's gonna play this out. If he does well, the bad part is I still don't think we pay him. If you want me to be honest, I still don't think we will pay him, even if he does well. And so I think it will just open up the floodgates for us to get a quarterback some other way, unfortunately. I just don't if Jerry Jones doesn't like you as a quarterback, then you won't play that long with Dallas. But if Jerry Jones likes you, i.e. Tony Romo, i.e. Troy Aikman, who played a little bit longer than he should have, then you'll be with Dallas for as long as we can do it. So that's an unfortunate thing about my team and my owner, but I stand behind my Cowboys, and I hopefully you have a great season. But I don't. This might be Dak's last season with the Cowboys.
You finally saying that?
He said it for a while.
He's been saying it for a while.
I know. I just want to mess with him.
I have to argue a certain way sometimes, but yeah, man, I'm all for it. Unfortunately, but I would love to have a great season, of course. But
Yeah, you sound depressed over there, sir.
I just need us to win the NFC East and then get to the playoffs. So
You're talking too much.
no, I'm optimistic.
Okay.
There you go.
Well, before we finish off, one last thing to add with Derrick Henry deal. We added 2 or 4 mil to our cap space for this season with a certain somebody that's still a free agent, who initials is JC, if y'all know what I'm saying. So
we looking around there. Just make sure.
Javian Clowney and see. I know our GM said something about he need to see him pass the physical, so
I need to see him not jump outside 5 times.
Yeah. So let's move on to the NBA. So as we know, next week with the NBA, the bubble. I mean, July 30th. We got 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks. 12 days.
It's Friday.
Right. Marriages is this week.
Start Friday. Yeah.
I think before I go down this list, I think only 1 or 2 players tested positive for COVID of the latest COVID test. Before I start with none other than Russell Westbrook has COVID. He hasn't attended the bubble yet, but in his case, the Rockets are in the playoffs. So whenever he, is clear to get there, he said he's gonna, once he clear, he's gonna go. They'll have him back for a playoff run. Bruno, let's go with the fun and shenanigans going on. Bruno Caboclo quarantine. He left, former Grizz turned Rockets. So he has to quarantine for another additional week because he left his room after the first initial test, and he's supposed to stay in his room for over 24 hours or something like that. Rashawn Holmes from the Sacramento Kings. He got quarantined for additional 10 days himself. Well, it's less than that now since the news happened. He left the bubble lines to get a food delivery order from DoorDash, which I've seen a lot of trash food for all the other players, so I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Another news came out: Zion and Montrezl Harrell have left the bubble for family emergencies. I hope everything is okay with everything with their families. I'm pretty sure y'all want to talk about Zion. Are y'all?
My thing is, no, I just have just one thing really. My thing is when he comes back, is he gonna have to quarantine himself? Is he gonna be forced to quarantine? Which he should. I think all of us feel that he should. Or are they just gonna let something just slide?
But that confused me on the rule because they were saying like he has to take the test almost every day while he's gone or something. It's some out of the rule. I got confused. Like hearing it, it's like you got to test every day. Then you.
Right.
It takes like a week before you get tested. Man,
you don't get caught with it. You have to get tested for it every day. At some point, you be like, all right, something ain't right.
Okay. All right. So the hotline is being used. The snitch line. Shout out to Ja. He said he's not a snitch. He don't see nothing. He ain't saying nothing. But my boy, y'all know Jimmy Butler, aka Jimmy Buckets, has got the hotline called on him for working out and being too loud working out in
In typical Jimmy Butler fashion.
Right.
Bro was just working out and he had a complaint filed against him. Wow.
He had music on 1,000 too.
Right.
It's probably country music, by the way.
Right, exactly. So of all these headlines, just anything funniness that y'all have to mention or say about this whole bubble situation. For what
Ben Simmons making fadeaway threes now. What is going on?
We'll see if he do in the game.
Okay.
Ben Simmons making fadeaway threes now. What's going on?
Savage, you said Tony Allen used to make jumpers when you worked for the Grizzlies, didn't he? In
in the left corner, yeah.
Okay. You see it in the game.
I'll comment about Rashawn Holmes, man. Like how? Okay, so the bubble. Is there not like a perimeter? Like, you a math teacher, right? Is there not like a perimeter around the bubble, like a yellow tape, or
should be?
Somebody seen him like the 3rd floor.
So he literally walked like however many feet, and like just because you left like 8 feet from the bubble, you got to get quarantined. Like, so what's the difference between the air over there and the air at the front door? I don't understand.
Right. Hey, no. One thing that's missing though, got to put conspiracy hat on. Kelly Oubre of the Phoenix Suns actually had tweeted that folks delivered to the hotel, so you just got to meet them outside the front. And since that tweet, of course, we've had 2 people leave the bubble. Of course, the situation with Rashawn Holmes. So stay woke. Kelly Oubre is trying to get these folks out of here. One by one. Stay woke on that.
So he the one.
I don't see how somebody giving advice on a bubble if you're not there.
Kelly Oubre is there.
He's there.
The song got invite. Yeah.
For what?
Like,
You say Suns ain't gonna make the AC.
he want to play. let him hoop, bro.
I thought he was injured.
I mean, he'll be out for 4 months. I mean, he's
okay. Whatever.
From the headlines that we talked about, the John Morant one, I just absolutely love. And the reason I love it is because every time I see him or he does an interview, I just think this man is such a Memphian. Like, how long has he been here? It just seems like he's been here for so long.
You're now
For him to say about the snitch hotline, I don't see nothing. I don't say nothing. I don't even know the number. Yeah. That sounds like a Memphian, bro. Like, we do nothing.
I don't even know the number.
Talking about how much we love this city, bro. And he's just been here. Not even, I mean, maybe a full year, and he's just embodied like being a Memphian. He talks like a Memphian. He acts like a Memphian. He got a grill as if he's been a Memphian for quite some time, bro. I literally love John Morant, bro. Like,
beyond that, Skylar, beyond that, like the fact that he said that, like what you said, no doubt, definitely true. But the fact that he said that lets me know he locked in to play basketball. He ain't studying no. I'm stitch on LeBron. He like, I'm just here to hoop, bro. Like I got my slide ins, I got my Nikes. Let's go.
Got my noodles and I'm good.
I got my ramen noodles. Like.
Speaking of Ja, I like the fact that 9 times out of 10 he's gonna be called Rookie of the Year now. With the NBA coming out and saying everything before the bubble, is what we're gonna base our awards off of. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have an awards day on the show, coming soon. But Roy, Ja Morant, shout out to Ja Morant, man, coming to the city and blessing us with his talent and his heart.
Let me say this too. Let y'all look at me. Let the NBA give the Rookie of the Year to Zion Williamson. I will be irate.
Yes. Why you like the kid? You got games on your phone, bro? Like, but no, I totally agree with you, though. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't just wait to see you spaz about it. I actually want to see them give it to him just so I can see you spaz.
No.
Nah, it's gonna get ugly.
Nah,
it's gonna get ugly.
I actually have nothing to say about it because the Zion privilege. That's here nor there. I would love to see Zion come back, and I don't think the Grizzlies lined up to play the Pelicans?
Yeah, they are.
I need Zion quarantine, whatever he needs to do before he gets back tested, and I need to show and prove before March 11th, and even afterwards. Ja is the better player this year. He is the Rookie of the Year. End of story. I know Zion's been very explosive. Yeah, great.
Apparently, there'd be a 4 or 5 seed if he was healthy all year.
Yeah,
according to Josh Hart.
Cute, Josh Hart. You couldn't even make the playoffs.
But like Bradley Beal.
And again, it just shows you that sometimes these people just be talking. If you statistically look at it, the Pelicans are 500 with Zion once he plays. So.
That's why I tweeted LeBron would have won 9 rings with Kobe.
The last time I checked, the 4th or 5th seed in the Western Conference was not playing 500 basketball.
4th or 5th seed with the Grizzlies. Exactly. So you'll be tied, maybe. All right. So, Cheaty.
Oh yeah,
show go.
So speaking about being optimistic, in this show, and Zion being optimistic about being Rookie of the Year, that ain't gonna happen. So this part is we made a list, and this list was based upon players that were maybe injured or left the NFL a little bit too early, maybe like a season or two before their prime. So it's called the optimistic list. So what it is you take your team and you add a player on offense and defense that you believe will take your team to the next level. So let's say, for instance, and I'll throw out an example. Please don't click because I don't want to start yet. The first example, or the only example I'll give you all is if I was a Colts fan, which I don't know any of them, but one, I would maybe add Barry Sanders as a halfback, and I will put Sean Taylor as a safety. That would make my team a little bit more complete than where they are now, right? And then possibly make a better playoff run for us moving forward. And so that's the exemplar right there. We're going to go in this order. So just make sure y'all know. Savage, Trevor, Skylar, Took, Sharky, and myself. But I definitely want to hear from the Eagles first and their 2 players.
Okay. So on the next slide, is it offense and defense, or is it like?
Yep, it's both.
Both.
Okay, cool. Bit. So looking at the Philadelphia Eagles, y'all know our secondary is trash. But our defense is not contingent upon our secondary making plays. We did sign Darius Slay, so I do expect him to be a shutdown corner. I expect that. I pray that happens. But our defense is at its best when we are getting pressure off the edge. And so my defensive pick was Mr. Lights Out himself, Sean Merriman. And as Sheedy knows me, I am Statich. So Sean Merriman had 39.5 sacks his first 3 years in the NFL before he had a lot of lower extremity injuries. He had knee surgery after his 3rd year, and he also had a foot problem as well. So he never was that same player. He's an outside backer in a 3-4, but if y'all look up this dude's like physical stats, he's 6'4", like 250. Like he's an edge rusher for a 4-3 defense like the Eagles. So if we are able to get pressure off the edge, that eases up the responsibility on the cornerbacks and the safeties. Could have went with a corner, but I was like, nah, we really don't get sacks. We actually only had, I think, 43 sacks last year, which was good for like below average, like 18th in the NFL. And our Super Bowl year, we got pressure, so I need some more pressure. Secondly, y'all see the picture of Sterling Sharp. It is a crime that this dude not in the Hall of Fame. Like this dude in 1992, he had the triple crown for the wide receiver. So what's that? That's leading the league in catches, leading the league in yards, leading the league in touchdowns. Like that is crazy. That's going into the game knowing that this dude is going to get 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touchdown or 2 in a game, and you can't stop it. That's just what it is. Y'all, I've documented my beef with the Eagles receivers for a very long time. And if we just got somebody that has a pulse and a pair of hands, I'm good. Sterling Sharp is the brother of Shannon Sharp, the older brother. If you watch Shannon Sharp's Hall of Fame speech, you know that he said that this jacket belongs to Sterling Sharp because without Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp would not be who he is today. So my 2 is a number 1 receiver in Sterling Sharp and an edge rusher in Sean Merriman. And
I apologize. I put him at the slot for you, but yeah, you do need it.
It don't matter. He can be slot. He can be running back. He can be left tackle. If he can catch the ball, he can play with my team.
Yeah. Does anyone have any things to say about this list that Savage now has with this team?
No, I think he definitely addressed their need on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, especially at linebacker. Because Lord Jesus, they can't keep a healthy linebacker to save their life. So I think him picking Sean Merriman was clutch.
Yeah.
All right, Trevor.
All right. Well, for me, to be honest, it was actually kind of tough to kind of see who I felt could put the Steelers over the top for both sides of the ball. So I just kind of went and thought of what could possibly just, add a little extra to what we already have kind of on both sides of the ball. I'll start, of course, with defense. And this guy has been with the Steelers. Didn't like how the whole thing kind of left with him eventually leaving. And it doesn't hurt to have another person on the other edge rushing. So my defensive guy who I felt could put the Steelers over the top is none other than Debo himself, James Harrison. Don't really have the stats to back it up, but you guys, Skyler knows pretty much how Debo was his entire career. Look no further than the Super Bowl with that. Then on the offensive side of the ball, we've always talked about this young receiving core that the Steelers have, and just having some form of a veteran presence to kind of help aid with this young receiving core going forward. And that's one of the reasons why I went with Terrell Owens. I think the last few years of his career, even though the injuries kind of started to pile up, he was still pretty decent. I'm not asking him to come in and be the T.O. of old. I'm just asking him to come in when he is, make a few catches, and just help be that driving force, be that veteran presence for the young receiving core that we have going forward. So those are my two who I felt could put the Steelers over the top. So I'm interested to hear what my buddy Skyler has to say. But any questions on those?
I think T.O. can come in right now. 45 points.
You're going to be 100 about it. That's
still in shape.
And the way James Harrison throws those medicine balls,
he probably play y'all can't have
Y'all know how I feel about T.O. I feel like for me, T.O. is the best receiver that I have seen with my own two eyes. Like as far as like just the pure, he's like Russell Westbrook in football. Like he gonna play 110% no matter what. Like Super Bowl with the Eagles with McNabb, dude had one leg and had like 10 catches, $130. Like it don't get no better than that, man.
No.
You definitely address the needs that we have. Pretty soon, and the two positions that you selected is my exact two positions that I selected. So you definitely knew what we were looking for.
So you got anything?
Yeah, I think those two players are meshed perfectly. You know, you can put Juju back at the 2, which I think he's more comfortable with. And you do add that beast that James Harrison is, because apparently, according to Madden, Fitzpatrick ain't as good as y'all say he is. So, you know, it is what it is.
Why you go I'm telling you now, man. We ain't 50 Come on.
No, but that's a good one, Trevor. That's a real good one.
Okay.
All right. Scalito.
Keeping it in the AFC North, baby. All right. So, Mike Trevor, this was actually pretty hard. I knew exactly who I wanted on offense, but on defense, it was kind of hard for me to choose who I wanted because I honestly think that the Steelers have top 5 defenses in the league. And so I think a weakness of ours is on the defensive line, but I couldn't really find anybody that was like, their career didn't end too early or something didn't drastically happen for them for their career to end too soon. So I couldn't come across anybody like that. So next slide. I, of course, with the wide receiver position. It's Brown, man. I mean,
he got a mental sickness. It's a mental sickness.
Like, I mean, man, like, hard of a Steelers fan I am. I mean, like, when Antonio Brown is on the field, he produces. Period. I don't care what I'm not saying I don't care what he does off the field, but when he's on the field, the man is locked in and he's going to give you a game. Like, he's good. Like, I've seen him wreck defenses. I've seen defenses literally try to game plan for this man. Double coverage, triple coverage, man in the box, then man over top. And I've seen him literally on a week-to-week basis, literally wreck an entire team's game plan. And I also think, and I said this a couple weeks ago, our receiving position, they're really young, and I think we need a veteran receiver to potentially, again, maybe help out with Juju or Deontay Johnson and things like that. So I think, of course, Antonio Brown, his numbers with Ben Roethlisberger is off the chart. So I have to go with AB. And, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, Patrick Willis, man. I mean, y'all know me. Patrick Willis is the man. I'm a big fan of players being able to tackle. Players these days don't know how to tackle. Yes. And trust me, I ain't seen nobody break a tackle from Patrick Willis. And I just think that as good as our secondary is, and I think our linebacker core is pretty good as well, but it's nothing wrong with having too many pass rushers. So he could definitely line up, whether that be in the middle to help out Devin Bush, who's going out into his second year, maybe line up outside, because, I mean, Bud Dupree just got franchised, so you know how much longer he's going to be there. And, of course, T.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year, he's going to be on the other side too. But, of course, they still got to pay him. So a couple of questions that's coming up with the linebackers. But Patrick Willis, man, you ain't breaking no tackles off of him. So there it is.
The thing I like about your pick, not by Antonio Brown, but the Patrick Willis fits the culture of Pittsburgh. And like when you said that, I was like, oh wow, like yes, with the Watt brother that you already got there, with Minka, who was underrated as well, that would literally cover 3 layers, so to speak, of the defense, and that would just accelerate your defense even better. So I like that one for sure.
Man,
Patrick Willis is so good that you could have got his great value version, Navarro Bowman, and still been straight. And still been straight, bro. Like, I forget about Pat Willis, honestly. But
yeah.
I saw him in Ole Miss play with a club on his hand, bro, and still had like 12 tackles in the game with the club on. I was old at that point.
Let me go through this man's tackles really, really quick because I had to look this up and was like, sir, 2007, he had 136 solo tackles. Solo tackles. Like I was just like, what, bro? Like he had 136 that year. 2008, he had 109. 2009, he had 114. 2010, he had 101. So 1, 2, 3, 4 straight years of 100 tackles, man. That's
solos.
Exactly.
That's almost like 10 a game. So yeah,
exactly. That's like the man could tackle, brand. Y'all know me, bro.
He was always waiting to go to linebackers.
Yeah, for sure.
Kudos, my brother. That's great. That's great.
Like y'all say, man.
Free AB, man. Free AB. Next up, Carolina. This was actually pretty easy for me. Of course, on the defensive side, Lito, you brought up Patrick Willis as a tackling machine, which I definitely didn't find any better tackler than Luke Kuechly.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
He was good for 10 a game.
Luke Kuechly was Carolina defense, like literally from the day he was drafted. You know, we bring up Patrick Willis again. He was the first rookie to lead the NFL in tackling since Patrick Willis in 2007. And his career kept going and going and going. And even though he retired, you know, due to concussion injury, like he's had a Hall of Fame career, and I debate they went with anybody, you know. And I think if he would have kept playing, he possibly could have been a top 5 linebacker of all time, and he possibly some could debate that he is still to this day. But you look at Luke Kuechly, man, he was Carolina defense, and if you add him to the team that we have next season, I'm a lot more optimistic as far as our defense will go.
Y'all retool if he would come. If he came.
You said what?
Y'all would be retooling if he came in.
No. Luke Kuechly retiring was like, okay, it's time for us to start over. But if he didn't, of course, I'll be talking all kind of noise right now. But salute to Luke Kuechly. He's still on the team as a linebackers coach, I believe. So he's still, you know, in the game, and I think who knows, he could come back. But going on to my offensive player. Besides blocking, Andrew Luck is a quarterback that I think if we're still playing today, he'll be entering his prime. And I know I talked a lot of crap about him, but if you do look at his numbers, he came back from injury and did his thing and then left the game. You know what I'm saying? 4-time Pro Bowler since his rookie year, former #1 pick. Last season had 39-15 with 4,500 yards. And I think if you put that instead of Teddy Bridgewater, we know exactly what we're going to get with Andrew Luck. With Teddy Bridgewater still being kind of like a mysterious, starring quarterback in the NFL. So you put Andrew Luck in, and you get somebody who could possibly, win, especially if Luke Kuechly stays. So
I'm shocked there was as much stuff you talked about Andrew Luck.
I do have a question though.
For one, I couldn't think of any other quarterbacks who may have had shorter careers. But for two, if you put Andrew Luck and Christian McCaffrey together.
Oh, I got one. I got one for you too.
Oh no,
I got one. It's former Eagles quarterback, former Vikings quarterback. You want to talk about Randall Cunningham? He would have fit perfectly with the Carolina Panthers.
I feel you, but I feel like that's kind of what we gonna get with Teddy in a way.
Go watch Randall Cunningham highlights.
I do got a question though, because I just want to ask this. So in the perfect world, because I think Andrew Luck was drafted in 2012, first overall. So in the perfect world, if you knew you were getting Andrew Luck the next season, who do you take with that first pick in 2011? Do you still take Cam in that situation, or who else would you feel?
Absolutely, because I know I'm getting a winner in Cam Newton.
With Andrew Luck.
With Andrew Luck.
Oh no, with Andrew Luck. Oh no.
So
no,
knowing you're gonna get Andrew Luck the following season, who do you take with that first pick in 2011?
In 2011, the Cam Newton season.
Yeah.
If I knew I was getting Andrew Luck the next season, it'll probably be Von Miller.
Easily. Yeah.
Von Miller and Luke Kuechly on defense. I mean, that's a Super Bowl winning defense.
That's good. That's good.
You know. So yeah, that's a good question though.
Did come out there.
Yeah, I definitely love your. I'm sorry.
You go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I definitely love your Luke Kuechly pick. I actually almost knew you were going to pick Luke Kuechly for a
Come on,
defense.
man.
But I think, and I kind of knew you were going cornerback, but I was hoping you did, just because, again, I'm not the biggest Teddy Bridgewater fan, which is why I'm honestly not giving the Carolina Panthers much. I just don't feel like they're going to do much in the NFC South. And so for you to go quarterback and then for you to also pick Andrew Luck was a little interesting. But I actually, again, at the end of the day, I love it because I think you maybe agree with me, but without saying it, I think you may be a little bit worried about the quarterback position. That's just me.
Y'all could be.
I'm a little worried because, like I said, this is the first time that Teddy has ever just been given the keys. You know what I'm saying? So he got the weapons around him, and he can definitely succeed offensively.
And it'll be interesting because at one point when he was getting the keys in Minnesota, he tore his ACL twice, I believe. So it'll be interesting.
For sure.
Y'all could be for division with these two guys.
Not fine.
I mean, like I'll be talking a lot of noise if we had both of these players. No cap.
Yeah. Good choices.
Guess it's tighten
up.
So I guess I can start with offense. Now I do like I said I like Tannehill. But like Savage said, I think Tannehill's more like Jimmy G mode where y'all saw the Super Bowl. Y'all saw the championship game. They can get you there. Like, they can make plays, but they're not gonna put you on top. So my first pick.
I think I got it.
Y'all know RG3 was doing. Be arguing and Derrick Henry in the same backfield with AJ Brown on the outside and sell me wow.
I'll run a triple option all day.
All day, right? All day.
Second pick after Andrew Luck. I mean, that was pretty easy for me. First night came to my mind. Like that's top. We the one top offenses. We up there with Baltimore and Kansas City with him.
I like
the rookie year, because he can throw and run. There was no if ands buts about it. Defense. This man terrorized. He was hurt a lot. He terrorized our team for years, and so Peyton Manning was, he couldn't win this. He couldn't get over the top, right? Bob Sanders kept getting hurt. Their defense was not good. The year he was even hurt,
secondary one really
right.
Good.
The year they won, he was hurt that year, but he came back right in time for the playoffs. Right. And they defense, I think they possibly had the best defense the whole playoffs because one man alone, him, Bob Sanders. And I think we're out of safety. So really, we need more help on the defensive line, which might come into Javier Clowney. Our linebackers are good. Safety, Kenneth Vaccaro is good, but you give me Bob Sanders and Kevin Byard together. It's similar to like
no fly zone.
That's a nice little combo.
So I pretty much took two positions where we're pretty good at, but they're not. Kenneth Vaccaro and Ryan Tannehill are not going to put us over the top. Bob Sanders, RG3, we're probably Super Bowl favorites, possibly if you add them two to this current team.
For sure, I love these two. One, the safety. Y'all know how I feel about safeties ever since Mika got there. Bob Sanders can literally play all three levels of a defense. He was really good. He could tackle too.
You can knock your block off, bro.
And I love the energy that he played with too. And you can tell when, like you said, when he was on the field, everybody else kind of fed off his energy too. So really good pick with that one. RG3, man, he could ball. When he was healthy, what was it, like his rookie year? He played on the
rookie season.
What did he give him? Was it the Cowboys? I think maybe. Okay,
Thanksgiving Cowboys. Yep.
I said, Jesus Christ, this man can play. And if it wasn't for the injuries, I really, to this day, and I know I'm wrong when I say this, but I still would have took RG3 over Andrew Luck. If I did no injuries, like I would have took RG3 just because like he was a dual threat. He could pass the ball with accuracy, and of course you had him as a threat with the triple option, being able to hand the ball off or keep it too. So I really love the two picks for you.
He need to learn how to slide.
Yeah,
that's a fact. He didn't need to learn how to slide and get rid of the white.
RG3, man. I think he could have been perfect in a Carolina Panthers uniform too, and I salute you for bringing him up. But it's just those injuries, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't fit them injuries in. Like, just
remember what I said about Washington's football field? It's trash. That turf messed them up. Messed them up.
Yeah.
Yep. That was the point. Get players who careers ended early because of injury. Get them healthy.
Man,
there you go. All right. Does you want to finish with the star?
Oh yeah, so don't even click nothing. Yeah.
Hey, I got something to say about that. I watched before you start. I watched the documentary last night. The Scabs, 1987. They had replacement players.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all had most of y'all half y'all team back together, and the team for the replacement watched the Redskin players nonetheless. Went to Dallas and beat y'all 13-7.
It does sound.
Tony Dorsett and they were playing that game. You my boy, yeah.
I wasn't a Cowboy fan at that point, so I can't address those situations.
Boy, I'm stupid. Jerry Jones wasn't there yet.
Yeah, he wasn't. Golly, I've been out following Jerry Jones. So y'all know when I do stuff like this, I like to dig deep and to give y'all answers that you like. No, who is that? What is going on here? I am so glad that Trevor changed his position on a player. But I didn't take that player anyway, right? And so when you look at the Cowboys, I agree that we need some help on defense and offense. On offense, though, I think we need some help at this position. And you can go ahead and click because I want to hear the oohs and ahs. Like, what?
Okay.
Tony. So, for those that don't know too much about Tony Vaselli, first team All-American in college from 92 to 94. That's all 3 seasons he played. He was the second pick in the 95 draft. Here's the stat that I really loved about it. He only allowed 15 and a half sacks over his 7-year career.
Jesus.
That's it. So no matter what tackle you line him up on, I don't have to worry about him. And he was the least penalized player at his position for every year that he played. Another stab at the Cowboys because Tyron Smith and Collins, those tackles that we got, stay getting us holding penalties and false start penalties all the time, which really kill the buzz that we had. And so that's why I said Tony Vaselli. Eric Berry, read these stats. 5-time Pro Bowler.
Great.
Yes.
5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro, NFL Comeback Player of the Year in 2015. He was the 2010s All-Decade team. He just was hurt. And he's only played about, I think, 5 or 6 games in 2017 due to the injuries. But Dallas, if you hear it, he's ready to come back and play again because we need a safety.
Get him now.
Yes. I believe, I've always said this, the one thing that was terrible about Dallas Cowboys last season was we were missing our best defensive player to me, which is Van Der Esch. Because at a linebacker position, he could cover, he could tackle, he can do a lot of amazing things that put Jalen Smith the ability to really rush the passer and focus on everything else. We get him back, got Eric Berry. We have a whole bunch of defensive linemen now all of a sudden for 1-year deals. This is what's going to help us. I know we just lost one of the better corners in the league. I get that point. Money come, money go. But assembling this team together, yes, I believe we're going to go much further than getting beat in week 17 and not making it to the playoffs.
Look at you.
Good picks. Because Fred Taylor, running back for Jacksonville, back to Jacksonville's golden age.
Yes,
right
sir.
here. So, Jacksonville perennial playoff contenders at the time. Vaselli was there. So,
didn't Jacksonville make it to like an AFC conference championship like the first or second year?
They lost to us,
Crazy. Like,
I definitely appreciate your list because the reason I will never give the Dallas Cowboys credit because I never feel like they make the necessary moves that they need to make. And so these 2 positions are 2 positions that if they were addressed with these 2 particular players right now, today, I would say the Dallas Cowboys are a threat in the NFC. Like to address the offensive line position, especially at tackle with to the caliber of Tony Vaselli, like legit. If you go get a safety, legit. Okay, now you can make some noise because your linebackers are pretty good and your defensive line there and they're a little wishy-washy. But again, you got a safety back there. It makes everybody else's job that much easier. if y'all were able to add these two players right now today, I would actually say the Cowboys legit have a chance to win the NFC.
Matter of fact, y'all need to sign Eric Berry right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
And came back and dominated after being sick. So and he got hurt. So as a Tennessee fan, like I mean, he was the best player on the field. Period.
I had the pleasure of watching him when I was going there. So yeah, he was literally the best player on the field every time he stepped on.
Yeah,
absolutely. If Luke Kuechly wasn't Luke Kuechly, Eric Berry definitely would have been my pick. So salute to you for that one, Shooty.
Yeah. That was it, man. I appreciate y'all for the submissions and playing that with us. You guys that are watching at home, feel free to make your submissions as well. Maybe we can pull them up.
If you got yes,
make sure they put favorite teams too, because them just naming out players ain't gonna do nothing.
Nah, you supposed to be talking about Sterling Sharp.
Nope, he's not in the Hall of Fame, Dominic. That's crazy. His stats are ridiculous.
Exactly.
He said he recount.
Right.
Rodney P.
Oh.
Roman Harper.
Wow.
That's Rodney P. Ooh. I don't know about that one, dog.
Did you even learn how? Is that the right name? The way to spell his last name? Goodness gracious! Oh no, Sharp.
All right, man. Before we end, shoot, I forgot. So, hey, what we'll do like y'all want to just do like a poll this week or something, or do like a trivia thing for the giveaways. So just stay tuned. Facebook group, page, everything, Instagram, Twitter, it'll be all over. We have 2X. Let's be real. I'm gonna show it again. Let's be real. Black Lives Matter shirts. And plenty of these bumper stickers. So we just do giveaways all this week.
Home prices right.
You saw?
Wig on them.
Some big news before we finish off. The guys and I, we've been working. I mean, it's been 2 years, and we finally another opportunity came up. We'll be launching the Starting Five podcast for SB Nation Grizzly Bear Blues blog. So shout out to Joe Mullinex and Parker Fleming for giving us the opportunity. Follow us over there at Starting 5 MEM on Twitter, and I mean, just stay tuned. We just give you more content. We just keep bringing it, and we're gonna be covering the Grizzlies. So,
people want to hear that.
Yeah.
They don't let us in the door, man. That's shout out to them guys, man, for just dope and recognizing dopeness, man, for real. Like they let us in.
You better start shooting with us in the gym now, because once
it's too late. It's too late. It's too late.
I just want to give everybody on this podcast, like, kudos to everybody that's on here. Everybody does amazing work. We don't just show up on Sundays or show up on Mondays and just put something together. This happens from the time we end on Sunday to the time we record again. So definitely appreciate y'all, the hard work, the sacrifices, because I know we all got families, we all got different stuff in our lives that we deal with. So again, as much as we want to give kudos to everybody else that supports us, kudos to y'all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Anybody else got anything?
Well, again, we just don't do this on Sundays only. So look forward to even more content throughout the week.
Yep.
Hey,
all right.
Arrest Breonna Taylor killers, bro.
For sure.
Do you want to also arrest the person who shot Meg? Is that what that?
Yeah, we gotta figure that out too. We just gotta figure that out, bro. Shout out to the Kardashians, bro. They some gangsters for real.
Hey, one last thing for those out there that don't know, and this on a real important tip. Early voting in Tennessee starts in the next couple of weeks on August 6th. So please, if you can early vote, go out and early vote. If you aren't registered, well, at this point it's too late. But if you are registered, August 6th, first round of early voting. If you could do so, go out and early vote, man. So that's all I got to say.
Oh, all over the place. I love it. I love it.
All right. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.